Airbrush maintenance is crucial when it comes to model making. The biggest no-no of all is do not use a water-based product and then use a solvent-based product. If you then come back and use a water-based product, your paints will congeal in the airbrush, and it won't matter what brand you use. Water-based and oil-based do not mix. So make sure you have one airbrush for water-based paints and one airbrush for your thinner-based paints. And then you'll never run into these issues. So Mission Models paints for cleaning up. First of all, we can use a bit of water and spray straight into we've got ourselves an old water cleaning station here, and we can spray straight out into that. We can then use the thinner, in which we can add a little bit. Now you can do this at the end of your painting session or in between color changes to get it nice and clean. This is a good time to have a Q-tip on hand, because the chamber in particular, we want the chamber nice and clean, so we get in there while there's a little bit of thinner in there, and we can get our chamber all cleaned up so all the paint doesn't dry in there. Now there's another trick with all this, and it really is crucial to clean your gear straight after you're finished. If you've run into problems where you've had to walk away and you've got dried paint in your airbrush, there is another product here that works, and it works very well. I'll just show you it. It is Restorer, and it's made by Createx Colors, and it's designed to eat the paint of water-based systems. So it obviously eats its own paint system, but this being a paint system that is water-based, I can put Restorer in there and I know that's going to eat the paint out. First of all, I would spray a little bit out and leave the rest in there. Now I can leave it like that for half an hour. In that half an hour, that will then start to work its way through the nozzle and it'll eat all the dry paint out, and then at the end you just spray it out. Now another good way of making sure you've got no paint in there is when you get to this stage, put your finger over the end again and pull back. See, I've got bubbles. If your bubbles are clear, then there's no paint in there. If your bubbles turn to paint, well then you've got to spray it out and repeat the process. Now it's the same if you're using the Mission Models thinners, the same deal. Okay, so if we got paint in the thinner, that means that it's not clean. Then spray it all the way out, and once you've sprayed it all the way, some water through it. The water neutralizes the Restorer. If you leave it in there with just Restorer, it'll continue to keep eating, and it'll start eating into your components. So make sure half an hour is it. So now that we're going to spray it all the way out, and when that's done, here's another little trick for you can do. It will remove some of the chrome on the inside if you do this, and it will just go back to the brass. Does that damage the airbrush? No, it doesn't. The thinner from Mission Models, I've just put some in there, spray a bit through, and I can leave it like that. And I can leave it like that permanently if I want to. So you can come back the next day, spray it out, and off you go. So there's a couple of real neat tricks for you of how to look after your airbrush and Mission Model paints.